My lords, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to Transport Fever 2. At the moment we're just looking at one of the planks trains that was set up in the last episode that runs from the sawmill over to the machinery factory over by Queens. This is all now up and running as we can see, and it's, oh dear, I've lost it. I have to bring the UI up earlier than I hoped. Let's just do it this way. Yes, oh, I've done it again. There we go. There we go. That's what you want. So yes, this is shipping the planks to the machinery factory. I have to confess, there's been yet another recording hiccup. These tend to happen, and I think I've narrowed down the problem. You see, when Windows updates, which it often does, the recording settings for the audio, so for basically the narration, so the microphone inputs, they seem to get forgotten by Bandicam, and I have to change them or reset it up every single time. Well, at least that seems to be the problem. So next time we have an update, I'm going to have to remember to do that. Not sure why that is, it's rather frustrating and annoying, but there you go. So there was an episode that I recorded, but again, the narration wasn't captured. So what we're going to do today, first of all, is just very quickly go ahead and look at what would have been featured in the episode had it recorded correctly. It all centres around the machinery factory, so if we just leave this train to go about its business, and we head over to the machinery factory now, which is over here, what I've done, as we can see, we now have steel coming in. If we have steel coming in, that of course means the steel factory is receiving coal and iron. And that is what we set up, or that is what I set up in the episode that suffered yet another recording mishap. So where's our steel factory? It's over here, as we can see. We can see one of the coal trains just leaving. It's obviously just made a delivery, and over here we can see another one on its way. The coal is being brought in from down here, reasonably close, so nothing too extravagant there. Likewise, the iron isn't too far away, and it's just coming in from over there. As we saw, that means now the steel can be produced and shipped out, and that is indeed happening. So as it stands now, we do have machines being produced over here in, I refer to it as the Queens. While it's, as a crow flies, it would be closer to New Rochelle, but it's Queens to me. In fact, I'm going to change that to Queens Machines Factory. There we go. So now we can start doing stuff with this machinery if we so wish. For example, we could take it to New Rochelle or to Newark. The original plan, of course, was to bring it up to Worcester because it's one of the 4 goods that Worcester is asking for, alongside the bricks and the tools, which we already handle, and the food, which we set up recently. However, as I was planning the line, I noticed that we have a new machinery factory up here by Springfield. This wasn't here before. This is one of the new ones that cropped up, as they do from time to time now. And handily, we have a steel factory just here outside of Providence. We have coal available, also iron, more coal down here. So I'm thinking we'll just use this one to supply the likes of Worcester and Springfield and Kingston. To get planks, we can obviously do that. We already have a planks or a sawmill up and running here that's producing away quite happily. So all we would have to do is come up here with the planks, and then we could return with the machines. As I mentioned, the steel would be relatively straightforward as well. We have the steel mill here, And I think the plan would be we'd have the station along this side, and we'd just have the line come down to be a sharp bend, but we'd curve it in to the main cargo line somewhere around here. Then the train would just run up here on this line. We'd have to cross it over early. As you know, we have a bit of quad track here, so we'd have to get this train over the other set of tracks and then off, because it needs to get up here. Yep, the alternative, of course, is coming off here, but given the fact we have hilly terrain and quite a few tunnels, we probably don't have the space to do it there. So it would be down here. So I think that's likely the plan for today, at least getting this started up. So what we'll do is we'll first of all get these to cross over almost immediately, like this. If we can get ideally around 50, but we don't want to stretch it too far. Is that too far? Let's see. No, that's perfect. So we'll do that. If we can get the snapping node, there it is. Bring you over like that. And then what we want to do, we want to get two lines that come off this way. Now, because we're crossing over, we have the overlap, so we need to make sure it's looking good, and that looks okay. And let's get that a little bit faster, 70 miles per hour. There we go. And double track that, a little slower on the inside radius there, 69. That's fine. And then I've set it so, if I've set it close here, because then when we start bringing the planks down here, it can also utilize this junction here, as well as the trains that are bringing the steel. In the future, of course, we'll also have the trains that are bringing the machines into Kingston coming down here as well. Okay, so that's ready to go. We need to get a station up here. So let's do that. Cargo station. We want, I'm going to say 4 tracks to begin, because we want one for the incoming planks, we want one for the incoming steel, and then that leaves us 2 for the outgoing machinery. Let's just quickly rename the station that we just constructed. Springfield Machinery is fine. And where are we wanting to head to? There. So it could be a little tight, this. And the terrain isn't the best over here. We also want to make sure we have plenty of space to get all these. I mean, look at that elevation change straight out of the station. Maybe that's better, yes. As I was saying, we want to make sure we can get all of the access onto the platform done early and smoothly. There we go. And then if you do that, that should do us quite nicely. And if we can have a diamond here at 50, which we can. Okay, it's being weird there, so let's try it this way. Yes, that's unfortunate. I'm not sure why it does that sometimes, so let's just retry the diamond, shall we? Let's go a little bit further away. Let's see, 50, perfect. Wonderful, there we go. There's your diamond. So that opens up all 4 platforms. Now, we need to get this down to here. So let's see, we'll use the inner radius because the outer radius is only going to be faster, so what sort of position is that going to leave us in? Yeah, I think that's fine. 60 miles per hour, that's more than enough. So our terrain over here is pretty ropey, as we can see. Where are we heading to? Let's see. So if we can do a nice quick line to there. That tunnel's under this road, so there's no interference from that, which is always a bonus. And then bring the second track alongside. And you can go into there, and look at that, we've got full speed from corner to corner. Wonderful. So in theory now, we could already start sending the planks over. However, before we do that, we are going to want to make sure we do this signal work, aren't we? So we want one there, and there. And then it's just the usual case of applying the blocks. In fact, no. We don't want that one there. We want that one set back a bit, and you'll see why in a moment. But for now, we'll just do the blocking signals. We'll keep them out of the tunnel because they are semaphores. Maybe get one more block in here before we do the junction signals. Here we go. So we want one there. We want one there. And we need one there. Let's have that to clear the junction for trains heading up to the machinery factory. We'll have that to clear the junction for the trains heading into Worcester. And that for the ones heading down to New England. Or to Rhode Island, I should say. There we go. Now, going back up to this signal, the reason I've set it back just a little is because we have trains coming in here. One of them will be being loaded. That's too close. Yeah, some trains are going to be being loaded up and some trains are going to be dropping off. And we don't want our trains that are picking up to block access for the trains that are dropping off. So we're going to have a stabling line down here. And you can go in like that. That'll be nice 75 miles per hour. Like so. So then what we're going to do is just add a third signal to these blocks here. That's to obviously allow them to wait to access the station itself. And we'll have one more just there, I think. Perfect. They are touching, so we have a connection, so we can start a new line from the sawmill. How are we for platforms here? Are we going to need extra platforms? I think we are, because we have a lot going on in here. So let's do that. Let's put some platforms here. And in fact, because, yeah, we'll extend this like that, because this is going to be a stop platform. There's not going to be anything leaving. We've got the San Diego electric trolley now available. However, we haven't yet worked on any tram or metro lines, so we don't need to worry about upgrading those. Back to this, we can now bring this in, but I bet you we're going to struggle to get it to, oh no, look at that, we can get it in like that. And do we want, now we don't have the space here to stable up. That's annoying. And right, so what we're gonna have to do then to avoid the planks trains that are on this platform, and that might be waiting a little further down here, from locking the station out for anybody else, is we'll make sure that this line order that we set up here is not set to wait for an infinite amount of time. It just comes in, picks up what it can, and then gets out there pretty quick. Anyway, I'll show you what I mean by that. So we're going from here to here, Worcester Freight Exchange. We want, let's go that colour. Sure. So we're not going to do anything with that, the loading orders. We are going to change obviously what it can and cannot pick up. That doesn't affect anything. But we're not going to change how long it waits or if it aims for a full load or just takes what's available, because we want it, like I said, just to take whatever's there and then get out of there. Let's have you on this platform, shall we? The one we just put in there for you. Platform 5. There you go. And what's this line here? This is the food, isn't it? We need to change that onto platform 4, but we'll do that in a second. We'll call this Planks Freight Massachusetts. I believe that's right, Springfield, Massachusetts. It might be Springfield, Connecticut. It might be MTCT or MACT. Where's it gone? Yeah, let's do that. Let's do MACT. I'm going with my gut. MACT. Back to here. So you want to be on Terminal 4. That way you're not going to interfere with the fuel train as it passes on through back down to New York. Well, that's that. In theory now, that should be ready to go to start taking planks. You have a decent enough supply, but we might need to increase the supply, but we'll see how it goes. So locomotives, we may as well go for the Mogul at this point. It's decent power and tractive effort. And how many flat cars would we want? We'll aim for 12, I think. There we go. To begin, we'll just have one train running on this line. We can always increase the amount of trains and obviously their consist size later on. So there we go, that's planks being supplied up into the Springfield Machinery Factory. The other thing we need to do is work with this sawmill. Now I'm going to get rid of this road because it's in the way as to where I would ideally like to put the station. Now here we need 3 platforms for now. 2 inputs, iron and coal, and then 1 for an output, steel. So if we put you, we can get a little closer there. Let's see. Yeah, let's have you there. And we'll call this Providence Forge. So we're forging steel. And then we're going to do the same exit setup from the station here. So nice and flat and straight. And then we're going to give you a long... No, we can't go too long, do we? No. We'll go there. And then at this point, in fact, you can go down just a little bit more, just to give us room to have a decent sized and speed rated diamond, like that. And there we go. Now, I've done this a lot, well, I say long, but I obviously could have brought this approach in much sooner. The reason for the elongated nature of that is because it allows us to do extra platforms later down the line should we need them. Anyway, so now we're going to have to come over here and get you along onto that line just there. So, can we get 70? Should we go for 70? I think 70 is going to be fine. And what we want is a little placeholder here so we know what we're aiming for. Now I'm doing the inner radius here, so we need to put both of them down like that. And where are you? Do you know what? That's not a terrible speed. Yes, it's below 50. But it's doable and it's acceptable, I think. And given the constraints we're working with here in terms of how much, where we need to get to and how quickly we need to get there, I think 72 is not bad. Sorry, 46. I don't know where I got 72 from. Right, now we're having an issue here because it's not liking the attempt to build that. I think we have to do it piece by piece like this. There we go. And then that can just now come all the way over to there. And it would be infinitely better for everybody if I clicked the blue tick. There we go. So the last thing we need to do on this bit is just get this to cross over and join the main freight line. That's heading out of Rhode Island. Like so. We're going to have to reposition that and that, in fact, because they could cause problems with back ends landing on the junction, and we don't want that. So we'll put 2 of the entry signals there and 1 entry signal for the other direction. That to clear, that to clear, and yeah, we'll put another one to clear just there. I think that should be fine. And then revert to as normal from here. We'll put one there just for that junction as well. Okay. So now we can just put the routine block signals in. And where's the diamond? There's a diamond. I think we can get one more block on this corner, like there. Okay, perfect. So that's for the steel to come. We did the overlap already, so there is access for the steel train to get all the way up to the machinery factory as it stands. What we don't have, of course, are the 2 required inputs, iron and coal. Iron should be relatively straightforward. We have an iron mine right here. So let's set this up. For this one, we're just going to go for 1, and we're going to put it parallel to the road. I know that means it's not quite facing where we need it to face, but that's okay. And this will be, that's not parallel to the road at all, and that's annoying me. I might have to change that, or I might just ignore it. I'll just ignore it. What the heck? Or if I do change it, I'll just change it later off camera. And then this is going to come into the top over here. And where's our coal? That's over there. And we'll bring you into there. We'll double track it. Obviously, it doesn't need to be double tracked all the way to the iron mine, as it's only a single platform station, so we can't do that anyway. We'll bring you in. I don't think anything ever is going to come out this way, but it's there if we ever want it to. Now, can we get a nice diamond on this corner? I hope so. Yeah, it's not bad. There we go. And then just finish a double track. Obviously, we need to tuck it in as it gets close to the station, which is okay. I think we'll leave it there. Then bring that in, 75 miles per hour. Now the signals, so we want 1 there. Need 1 up this end, of course, before the diamond. There. That to clear. That to clear that way. And then your regular blocks. Hello, Mr. Bear. Like so. So now we can set up the line that is bringing in the iron. So from the Boston Iron Mine to Providence Forge, we want, let's say, that orange, or maybe a different orange. Let's go for that one. We can do the loading configuration here because it's only, there's no output, sorry, there's no inputs and outputs, it's just pure output. So don't need to worry if the trains are waiting down here, it's not going to change anything. And we'll do the loading orders just for completion's sake. There we go. And this is iron freight. And this is, we're going from Boston, Massachusetts to Providence, Rhode Island. Let's go ahead, get ourselves a couple of trains for that line. Get it up and running nice and quick. Locos, what do we want? It's not going a long way. But ideally we do want it to get up to top speed. I'm going to say we'll go for the Virginia and Truckee for this one, just to mix it up a bit. In terms of cargo, of course we need gondolas for this one. Did we say that orange? Or that one? I think it was that one. Let's see, how are you? Well, you get up to top speed in under half a kilometre, which I think is going to be fine. And we'll have 2. 5 of those. What do we have here? The steam tarpaulin truck and the steam flatbed truck. But I'll tell you what then. Well, you can't find a path to the stop. Ah, of course you can't. We need an access line on this bit here. Right, let's do that quickly. So, tracks. Come over. I don't care how slow this is. It is just to allow the trains to gain access. Get in there. And get in there. Too much curvature. A little bit further then. There we go. Now we're only going to have trains running one way, so we'll put a one-way signal there. Okay, now they should be able to find their way there without any problems. Let's see. Can they see the line? Now they'll be able to. I've mislabeled that name. It should be RC, not T. So let's just quickly amend that. RC. There we go. Right, in terms of new infrastructure, I think that's what we're going to leave it at today. However, as you saw, we just got the steam, tarpaulin and flatbed trucks. So I think it's probably a good idea to upgrade from horse and cart to the steam engine trucks. Let's go to the vehicle manager, filter this. Oh, we don't need to worry about our trains, nor do we need to worry about our buses. It's these ones we want. So bricks delivery. Let's see here. Yep, you can have the flatbed. The food delivery cannot, as we can see. The fuel delivery can have the flatbed. Can the logging have the flatbed? No. Yes it can. So logging haulage, the Phillips Bayway shunt can. What about tools? No. So these are having a flatbed. So let's swap all those. And then the remaining 3 will be having the tarp. Is that all of them? Yes, the rest are just buses. I don't think we've got any new buses yet. No, still just the American stagecoach, which we already swapped out for. So here we are, look. Steam trucks, our first trucks. Positively screaming of technological progress. So that's increased the carry capacity of those from 5 to 6. So that's fantastic. So that's going to help the throughput on here, especially now that we have 2 consumers for the planks that are being produced. This is going to no doubt need more and more logs. Speaking of which, let's see if we can find our delivery train for the planks. Is that you? It is. You have not yet made a delivery, as we can tell at a glance, due to its rolling 12-month income and expenditure number, its financial overview. So this will be your first delivery here, or your first load here. How much do you have waiting? 10. Now, if you recall, we didn't instruct this train to wait for a full load. So it's not going to take too many back with it. However, as it starts to settle in, the sawmill should start assigning more and more cargo, or producing more cargo, for the machinery factory. So what I'm saying here is initially this line for a couple of years is going to operate at a loss. But once things pick up, it'll start to become profitable. So even though it's going to operate at a loss initially, we're going to ignore that on the hopes that it is eventually going to pick up. There goes our iron freight train. Let's just have a look at this. The Virginia and Truckee variant of the American 440. I do believe, thinking back to the Ocala series that the Virginia and Truckee was the last variant available of the American 440. So this is the pinnacle of that model, if you will. And I must say it does look rather nice indeed. So we have iron being produced here, so that's all good. Let's just quickly end by having a look at our line statistics. I'm going to filter out all of these and the deliveries because I don't really care about those, because even if they're making a loss, the buses especially, it's not make or break, so we can disregard those. And let's have a look here. How are we doing? So this one is still struggling to make any sort of profit, but the demand for food isn't that great. So that's fine, and the loss isn't too ridiculous. That's not yet made the delivery, so we can disregard that one. And as discussed, this one is going to be a loss maker for a short while anyway, so we'll not concern ourselves with that. The main thing is, look at this. We're getting almost 6 million from the grain freight, just under 5 for the fuel production, and even our passenger lines are making us money, including the small metro line from Boston to Worcester. One thing I am going to do, if we go here, I'm going to rename this. We're going to keep the RP, because then it helps when it comes to filtering and grouping all of the line types, if you will, together. So we're keeping the RP icon or naming plate. We're going to call this Amtrak, and if I remember correctly, there is the Amtrak Acela. Is it Acela or Aquila? I'm going to say it's Acela. The Amtrak Acela Express. And that runs from Boston to Washington DC in that little thing we call reality. So this line here that we have currently going as far as New York City. Where are we? Over here. I think we will extend it to go to Trenton, Philadelphia, Wilmington, Aberdeen, Baltimore, and finally Washington. Much like the, I'm not sure, obviously in reality, what cities it does and does not call at, but it's just going to attempt to pay homage and give a nod to that line that exists in reality, the Amtrak Acela. Or it could be Aquila. I'm just saying Acela. I could be wrong. But anyway, enough about that. What do we want to take a little jaunt on today? Who are you? Where are you going? You'll do. I think we'll have a ride to the iron mine. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and like I said at the start, I do apologise for these recording issues that crop up from time to time, but as I said, it does seem to be related to a Windows update, so I'm going to have to just bear that in mind and keep an eye on it in the future. If you did enjoy the episode and you continue to enjoy this series overall, then the thumbs up would be greatly appreciated. And if you haven't done so, you could also consider subscribing as well. That way, you know when the next video's out. As it stands, there is no recording schedule, but I'm hopeful to get something sorted soon. However, 4 young children, working shifts, it's not always easy to commit to a schedule, but I'll do my best. Regardless, for now, all that remains me to say is, as always, ladies and gentlemen, you take very good care of yourselves. It's ta-ta for now.